Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
In this week's news, Dave and friends helped put out a grease fire in a parking lot at an NFL game. Some biatch decided 700 degrees was the proper temperature to fry fish. And, boom! Not to be outdone, Juan peed in a parking lot this week. Not in a portalette, just in a parking lot. Because every now and then, a lion has to remind the jackals that he's a lion. Well, and old lions have weak bladders. All this and more in this week's episode of Dave and Juan.
And 3,
Number 2.
1.
Woohoo!
That's the official sign that we are back in America. You
You're
are
welcome.
welcome. Newcomers, you may be wondering, what are we welcome for? Hey,
Hey.
we're here. Hi. How you doing, everybody? I'm Dave,
I'm Juan.
and this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you. Time stamping this on a Sunday evening, doing this one a little bit later than usual. I got home a little while ago. I've been at an NFL game / tailgating soiree all day. Man, I know you got to be in shape to play football.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not in shape to go to football.
Brother, you got to be in shape to just do the tailgating thing. My wife laughed at me this morning. I, woke up.
Yeah,
and-
like what time did you leave?
Oh, I left my house at 7:30. So my
Oh.
brother-in-law pulled in, and he had to, he met me here, and because the gates open at 8.
All right, so
So-
you got to be there to get your spot.
So go figure, man. I can be from my driveway to the orange light at NRG in 30 minutes. But it's weird, man. In the morning, there's not a lot of traffic, but all these hardcore tailgaters getting into these various parking lots used to be
Mhm.
lined up for, not for a mile, but a long ways. But yeah,
Longer
man,
than they ought to be at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
it's fun. It's a culture, and the same people. I guess people come and go, but the same core bunch. It looks like. And when I say core, I'm not just talking about my friends that I've sort of hooked up with this year, but folks that have been doing this for
Yeah, it's any tailgate or any place that's big on tailgating. You could walk around the LSU campus. You could walk around yesterday, and you could walk around 10 years ago, and half of the people you saw would have been in the exact same spot that they were in 10 years ago.
Man, the money and the time people spend. Some of the they got this one crew, and I forget the name of it. They had they hung a Moe's bar, like from The Simpsons. They had a sign that said like Moe's, welcome to Moe's. I've seen wedding receptions that didn't have as nice of a triple tent setup with tables with cloth on them and a full bar. I mean a
Wow.
full. I'm not talking ice chest. I'm talking
Yeah.
they set up a bar with turf, like a football field turf, and flat screen TVs everywhere. It's now the guys I go with they're pretty hardcore. They with it's an ambulance that's been
Yeah,
checked out
renovated.
and they're
or
serious
converted.
about good cooks. So today's what was on today's menu? One of the lead guys, Mark, he went fishing yesterday. He caught a lot of redfish and a lot of trout. So they're frying fish. They fried ribs, jambalaya balls.
I've never had that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad, man. You make jambalaya, and I don't know exactly what he uses to
Yeah.
make it adhere to make a ball, but then you roll it and whatever and deep fry it. Not bad. And various things. So that's
the same principle as a boudin ball.
right. And people are walking around, swapping the food. So the thing is, man, you get out there And I'm thinking, I want to pace myself because it's a long day, and I kind of was.
Saying
Uh,
you're outside in the heat.
but it's beautiful in the morning, not
Yeah,
hot yet.
yeah.
I'm sitting there pacing myself. I had a few coffees before I left my house. I'm sipping on a water or whatever, and then somebody pulls out. It's you got to start with the Bloody Marys, and that's when you're just realizing, I don't think the human body was meant for 8:30 in the morning.
At least not your human body.
Right, to be, sitting around, sipping on a Bloody Mary, but and then it was off. But good times. The Texans, we've learned a couple things on both sides. Both, my teams are the Texans and the Saints. We are learning now after week 4. Neither team is very good.
No.
The Texans are 3-1 and not looking very good.
Apparently, the Saints without Taysom Hill. Yeah, so Saints did great first half. Taysom Hill got hurt again. No more offense after that.
Go figure. Go that guy. Go figure that's the guy.
Yeah.
And look, he's on my fantasy team. I played him
Yeah.
today. He got me 2 touchdowns, and then I look at
He said the
I look
first
at the
7
alert.
plays he played
Yeah.
7 different positions.
Yeah, and I look at the alert and says, "Yep, he's out again."
Yeah.
So, but there you go. That's what I was doing today, and fun day. Also, again, time stamping this. We were chatting right before we went on. Uh, Thoughts and prayers going out to anybody who was caught up in Hurricane Helene.
Dude, and like way like in the Carolinas inland.
So it was, and I, look, everybody, and by the way, this is a side note, and just not to make light of any of that stuff, but those of you out there, and I know they do it, they fill up Facebook with, and it's probably mostly Facebook, because Facebook's for all the old people. Y'all can stop posting every freaking weather map that comes out anytime there. It's like weather porn, man. All these people, they go crazy. And don't get me wrong, you want to pay attention, but golly, enough.
I talked to a guy yesterday, and we were talking about all the spaghetti maps.
Right.
And I think that the popularity from the meteorologist on that has become, hey, I didn't get it wrong. I gave you 17 possible tracks. It's a good chance one of them was close to right.
Now, this one for Helene, almost a week out, they had was pretty tight, and they, for whatever reason, they knew this time they got it, but I knew beforehand. And again, it didn't take rocket scientist, that it was going to be big problems for the area they said it was going to, because I used to live, both my sons were born
Georgia.
up in North Georgia, up just knocking on, the Tennessee and the Carolinas, and we have up there. They have these things that we don't have a lot of in South Lafourche, rocks.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Like I said, I can hand you a shovel right now and send you to Cut Off, Louisiana, and say, dig till you hit rocks. You're gonna.
You're in a couple feet of water before you get anywhere close to a rock.
We won't see you. You're going to be digging, right? It's not going to happen. Whereas up there, everything, the soil of the house I used to live in, I may have told that story. I've told so many in 3 years of doing this. The time I had a dead, I guess it was a dead possum in front of my house in Georgia. And it was in my yard. I had a pretty big yard. And I was going to be a nice guy. And, I don't know if you give a Christian burial to a possum. I don't think that's a thing, but I was going to bury the possum. I had an acre. My yard was an acre. I could not find a place in an acre of yard that I could get a shovel more than, say, 6 inches into the dirt, right? And
what that means as it relates to a hurricane, I guess, is
correct. Yes. Oh, here you go. Pulling us back to the subject, Juan. That's a good way to do it. The water has nowhere to go. It doesn't sink in, and it runs. And I knew that was going to be an issue. All those creeks and the lakes up there, and they had rain, I think, the week before, and by default, a lot of those trees, I don't know if default's the right word, but the roots don't go. A lot of these areas, the roots aren't extremely deep on these trees.
right.
Right.
They're wide, not deep.
So it's been, and some of the scenes that we're seeing are just horrific.
Yeah, well, I
I'll
saw
pull,
they were saying like in Western North Carolina, they said, yeah, just go ahead and assume all the roads are closed or
yeah,
gone.
into Asheville, and Asheville is not a small place.
Yeah.
I was in Asheville so recently. Anyway, I've been to Asheville a few times, but Asheville, yeah, they basically said every road into Asheville was closed. Everyone. There's some small towns, and oh, I was trying to see if I could pull it up here. What it was? And I forget the name of the town, but there's a small town in North Carolina that they say is basically gone.
Yeah.
They say half the town is in the lake, and I don't know the rest of it. And sadly, like 60, I think the count now is 64 dead.
Yeah.
Which is that's big. That's big. Um, Curious though, and I mean, and not to jump, into politics. Have you seen any statement from either the person who's supposed to be a president or the one who wants to be? And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I have not.
I've been
She was
reading.
busy at
Yeah,
at the border for 10 minutes.
at the border, and I'm reading a thing here. Wearing a $62,000
Yeah, yeah,
Tiffany
yeah,
necklace.
yeah. I think she did that, Dave. That was a good statement to say, see, I trust that these people aren't committing any crime.
Yeah,
That the
me and the actual,
13,000 that
yeah,
yeah, the 13,000 convicted murderers that we have let loose into the country and
yeah.
lost track of aren't right here.
Those are,
I
and
can come here and wear this necklace.
it's bizarro world that we try to do. We do this podcast, for the children, basically. But
That's right.
no, but we try to be upbeat and joke about things. But you read, there's things that are surreal, and you say that no, how is it possible that you can read like Juan was saying? I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they've now they're admitting, and believe me, whatever they're admitting,
Right, right.
it's way
That's just
worse.
the ones they've tracked and lost.
And at a minimum, 13,000
It's 13,000
murder,
plus murder, people who were convicted of murder.
murder, murder.
I think a larger number are at least similar people convicted of sexual assault,
Right.
including, rape and things like that.
And well, and exactly. But the one jumps out like with murder. And it's one of the
Right.
best ways to tell that somebody has a propensity to commit murder?
They've committed murder.
They've already done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
But when Trump makes a statement that, we're getting criminals in,
I know.
it's all he's just making this
Making
up.
that up, right?
Stirring the pot, making
They're
it
not,
up.
they're not sending us their best and brightest.
Yeah, well, so
Murderers, insane asylums.
but I
Um
did see Trump at the Alabama Georgia game yesterday, and as he was walking in, he was passing out goodies. I don't know if they were some of his new gold shoes or what. But,
That dude is fearless, man. I mean,
yeah,
just if I was him, I'd if I was him, I'd be pulling what Biden did
yeah.
last time. I'd be in a basement, or in his case, Mar-a-Lago. I'd be the pine trees in the back of me doing, campaigning
Oh
from
yeah, but they're putting him on the screen in the stadium, and he's doing his wave, and people are cheering.
hey, living the dream. But so again, and then not that anybody in that area would be listening to the podcast right now, because most of them,
Yeah.
there's still a
Well,
few
going back
million.
to the thing without roads, I mean, yeah, it's not just the fact that you say, well, gosh, that's going to, be a hard problem to fix. Power line or the linemen, if there are no roads for them to travel on,
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
hard for them to get there to restore power.
Kind of hard. I mean, this seemed, and I saw interstates washed out and
Yeah.
these things. So I mean, I
And
guess it's
like I
on.
said, it's when you get north of Florida, it's more inland.
Correct. Yeah, it's up in the mountains and
Yeah.
the Carolinas. But it was, whether you call it a perfect storm or whatever, just everything's set up to, and it just put things in perspective. So a lot of they had places that got 15 inches, 20 inches of rain on top of everything. Perspective, and this is not belittling anything. It's just to show how the land is different. For
Mhm.
Hurricane Harvey here, right where I'm sitting in Sugar Land, Texas, we got about 50 to 54 inches of rain in a 3-day, 4-day period. So you can get some funky stuff going on, and they're telling us watch out next week. We got to watch another one that it's that man. Tis,
Yeah,
tis tis the
it's
season.
weird because so my stepdaughter lives in the southern part of South Carolina, close to the coast, but she didn't really get anything. I think her power may have glitched. Um, but it's fall break here at the schools. Um, not Monday tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday of the following week. So my wife is flying to South Carolina next week, and then my
Mm,
daughter is going to see a friend of hers in southern Florida on the Atlantic side around Boca. So I
okay.
said, yeah, both of y'all maybe either staying home or getting trapped there.
Well, yeah. Watch the weather. Watch
Hmm.
that's the So where was Cantori this time? Cantori was in Tallahassee. I think now they just sent Cantori to well, no, they didn't send him to New Orleans. They actually tried to get it. They tried to send him to Morgan City for the last one, but
Or Ida.
he was in Tallahassee. So yeah, those guys came off a lot better than the
Well,
the.
Cantori's got a young girlfriend in Louisiana.
I did not know that. Does he?
Uh-huh.
How,
Yeah,
how do
she's
you
no
how do
immediate
you?
rival. I think she's in her maybe early 30s.
That is young for him. I mean, Cantori's got to
Yeah.
be.
He's in the late 50s, probably your age.
Hang on now. Let's
Somewhere
see.
between me and you.
Let's see. Let's find. Let's find out. Let's see if I can do. We haven't had to ask our gal any things. Hey Siri, how old is Jim Cantori? He's 60, man.
All right. Like I said, between me and you.
There you go. Jim's 60. Yeah, 30 something would be a young girlfriend
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Younger than I can handle.
or want to.
Yeah. Struggling with the 57-year-old.
There was
Um,
man, look. It was funny after the tailgating today, which is the other thing. Man, it doesn't end. So you start early, you do your deal. Game kickoff is at noon. You have to start walking about. Let's put it this way: it takes me longer to get from where we tailgate, and we tailgate right. Basically, I wish it was the shadow of the Astrodome because it would be cooler. But we're looking at the Astrodome. We're as close to the
mhm.
Astrodome as you can possibly get, and Astrodome's on the side of NRG Stadium. I can get from my driveway to the parking lot faster than I can get from walking from the tailgate to the upper decks of where the tickets are. But yeah, it's so you do all that. You have to leave at like 11 something to make the kickoff. Game's over, and the guys are just like, man, don't even try it. We don't move. We just sit up there and wait good 15, 20 minutes to let the crowd start off. And then when you get back to the tailgate, they pull out the food and they start, you know,
Might as well. You're going to be sitting there.
and that's when all the uh, I don't want to call them the restaurants, but all the friendlies show up. Like, oh, okay, I know. All of a sudden, everybody's eating your food and drinking your stuff. I'm looking around saying, I didn't see you walk up with a nice chest, bro. I mean, I don't know what, but it's all being friendly.
Yeah, well, my daughter's high school, and my other kids went to high school there too, and as did my wife. They do like the school does a tailgate for every game, whereas anybody can go up there and eat. Yeah, they
Really?
get, and it's a small school, but so it's catered. Some restaurant will sponsor it. Friday they had ribs, smoked, pulled pork, had fried ribs. But then it was
Nice.
homecoming, so the alumni also had access to another place that had different food. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then they did the dance Saturday night. So my daughter, it's her senior year. Um, I've admitted on here before that until not that long ago, I thought homecoming just meant that the team had, played an away game and now they were, coming home. I had no idea it had anything to do with alumni. Because all the people I graduated with, for the most part, still live there and go to the game. So they're not
Right.
coming home. They're already home. Anyway, though, so the dance is not, we've talked about this in different fashions before, but it seems to be, yeah, as much about the group and the group knowing each other. Like they'll plan on who's in their group and then they get dates based on, you know, who knows people within the group. Like they'll go out, like there's a group of kids that my daughter went and they planned, they all went, had pictures somewhere and then they go eat out together. But it's got to be, well, if you need a date, you need to get somebody who's comfortable in this group.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, it complicates
A
things.
little more organized than back in our day.
Dude, I know. But apparently one of the boys in the group, I don't know, something happened. He had a date, but then that didn't work out. And then so he got another date because some of the girls in the group knew this girl. So he didn't really know her. So they went to dinner. And typically when you go like a big dinner like or a big group like that going to dinner, they'll get, all right, it's a predetermined menu. You might get 2 or 3 items to pick from, but it's you know the price before you get there. Well, apparently the restaurant screwed up and charged them more than what they were supposed to. And I think the boy brought the exact amount of money he thought he was going
Yeah.
to have to spend. Hey, kids now, it's so sheltered. When something goes wrong, they don't know what to do. This dude told the girl he needed some money.
well, well,
So,
he needed
so
some money.
apparently she got so ticked off, she just went to, she left and went with somebody else. It's like wouldn't ride with him to the dance or anything. Yeah.
Man, that story's not reflecting well on anybody, Juan.
No, that's what I'm saying, man. It's
I don't. Well, I mean, I can't fault the young man. I
right.
mean,
That's what I'm saying. But it's like pick up the phone, call somebody,
well,
or get over it if you're the girl. It's like, what do you
let's
want him to
debate on that. Yeah. Now, granted,
do?
okay, I guess here's the point. Here's the point too. So this was, if not a blind date, it was a setup date,
Yeah,
right? So it wasn't
yeah,
like she didn't have anything vested in this guy,
exactly.
and I don't. Hey, maybe he's a lovely fellow and quite the entertaining chap, but I guess it's not the greatest impression right off the bat. Hey, I mean,
Yeah, I need $60.
yeah. Well, dang, how much they what was the
It was supposed to be like I think 65 a person, so like 130 for a couple, and they ended up I think charging like 170.
that's
But
that's
they're all going to get the money back. But when you're there, it's
he was honest, man. I don't call you gonna call your mom, dad. We don't know the situation. So good luck to everybody. But no, she didn't that didn't reflect well. Yeah, sort of a blind date homecoming. That's weird. Weird.
worked in the group, and then all the dudes for this, all the senior dudes have to wear those stupid suits that I hate. Those goofy looking, like all hyper decorated stuff. Just
No, I'm old one. Like I
yeah,
said, I'm almost
Riley's
Jim.
dates
I'm almost Jim
basically
Cantori
had
age.
flamingos and palm trees on his suit. So
Everybody's got to be. Everybody got to do their thing. Do their. With the Rodney Dangerfield line. Man, it looks good on you. Looks looks good on you. I don't want to forget this one. Something that interesting happened today at the tailgate early, probably like 10 in the morning, 9:30, 10 in the morning, if that. And we're getting ready to get our stuff frying, and we're not unique. They got other people out there doing stuff. Some couillon, some quack chew group of them started a fire,
I was hoping you would talk about that. You said the picture,
dude.
man, and not a
So
little fire.
I mean, I don't even know how much, if it was peanut oil or what kind of oil it was they were getting ready to fry with, and they left it. I'll post. I'll try to remember to post a picture. I'm gonna just hold it up. That was the. I'm trying to get it with the lights here. Let me get it.
Yeah,
Worked on.
that looks like AI fire.
It does. What that was is I ended up. Um, I was videoing it, and then when I played the video back, it did a screenshot. But that's legit. That's legit.
Yeah, you figure if that dude's 6 feet tall, the fire's a little bit ahead of him. The fire's probably 10 feet up.
It was up. It was a bit, right? And well, that happened
So they were
after
frying, is what that was. The oil
apparently.
caught
So apparently, again, these couillon chews, they had the yeah, right. So there was a propane tank there, and and I guess they walked away from the grease. I don't know what. I don't. I didn't even. I wasn't curious enough to find out what did you idiots do. just I wanted to make sure because my car was 20, 25 yards away from where
Right,
this was
right.
happening. Okay. So out of the fireball, but still close enough to like, hey, stuff starts blowing up over here. I got a personal I got
Yeah,
interest in
you
what's
got something
happening.
invested in that deal.
And then it looked like they had set the bushes or something on fire, but it was just I guess the grease got to a point and it overflowed, got onto the ground, and it was just going up. And when you saw that big ball, one of our guys, Donald, went over there and he grabbed the fire extinguisher.
Okay, who had one? Your guy?
Yeah, we have, yeah, because one, we are professionals. We are highly trained tailgate professionals. We come prepared. But what happened is, and I think he did a pretty good job. But when you hit when he hit that thing with the fire extinguisher, it looked like at first it just I don't know if it spread it or just like that's when that
Yeah, you
ball.
got like I think a grease fire is different ways to treat a grease
Everybody,
fire.
everybody had a different thing. Oh no, don't use the fire extinguisher. You
Yeah,
need to
I
throw
have no idea what that way is, but I just know
myself. Donald
I don't
grabbed
think you
the.
throw water on it, put it that
You
way.
don't. No, you do not throw water on it. But it was a. I'm guessing a chemical or whatever, just standard fire extinguisher.
Yeah, smother it.
And people were like, "Oh, you got to throw flour on it." Really?
Yeah, excuse me. I'm on my way to Walmart.
How much flour you think we have to cover up this? So it took a while, man. It took and it's the world we live in. And well, look, I'm just as bad. I pulled out my camera and I was videoing, and I was like, look, I'm not. I looked around. Nobody was on fire. It looked like there
Yeah.
was. So I was just gonna capture my friend fighting the fire. And the weird thing is just the angle that I got. You see his back in front of the fireball, and what you don't see is he's kind of holding. He's got the fire extinguisher in front of him. It looks like he's peeing on the fire, right?
Yeah, and he's almost silhouetted by the light of the
He's
fire.
silhouette. So, somebody put that on Facebook saying, "Man, looks like you peeing gasoline, man. What's going on?" But
Yeah, depends. Not sure. The jambalaya balls could have been a little spicy.
yeah, that's what I told our guys when we got back. I said, "Man, our fish fry is boring. There's no there's no fireballs. They didn't have to bring the fire marshal. Literally, they bring the fire marshal out there to That's why we can't have good things. I mean, nice
Yeah,
things, man. But
talking about peeing.
talking about peeing, and we were
The other day I was driving, going to a meeting, and yeah, I needed to pee.
okay. We've
And
established that
like,
now.
all right, I'm kind of on my way, but I got a little bit of time, but not a lot. And so I was gonna go to like McDonald's, which was just a little bit out of my way.
Oh, so you really got to go if you're contemplating pulling into McDonald's.
Right, right. But that was out of the way. And I said, you know what? There's a convenience store right
Oh
right on the
man.
way there.
Oh man, I really gotta be in pain if I'm pulling into a
Well, I
convenience
was.
store.
I was. And then you know how when you get close, it gets worse.
Yeah.
The the convenience store was being remodeled and closed.
Oh,
N-
that's when.
Next door, there are a bunch of Ryder trucks for rent parked in an open lot. I said, hey, I got to go. So
And
pulled my Jeep up between a couple of the trucks, opened up the doors, and just went.
now tell me something. While you're standing out, and I'm gonna say in public, but I guess you're
I was
kind of.
close to. I was just. I was traveling Nicholson Highway, which leads. It's in between downtown Baton Rouge and LSU. So yeah, it's a well traveled.
Right. I mean, you ever like going through your mind? I'm a man of my age, standing out in a parking lot, having to relieve myself. It's like, yes, hey, beats.
Got to go, man. I was blocked. I mean, I was shielded from view. The challenge was I was facing uphill, and then
Oh,
it's like, oh man, if I don't slow down, getting
you
to
know
my
what?
feet here.
What I find is that I don't know. I think it's just a mental thing. So the times I drive to Louisiana, um, if I have my family with me or somebody else with me, seems that I have to pee more. So when I start thinking that I have to go, I start really. If I'm by myself and I just in my head know that I can just pull over anytime, I can do any. I mean, I can.
Mhm.
if I freaking want to, I can pull over to the side of the interstate like some of these quack chews and
Yeah.
just, you know, and it's interesting when I'm by myself, I'm good. I'm like, I hit Lake Charles thinking, oh, I can make Lafayette. And those of you that don't know, that's not a short ways.
No,
Like,
no, that's a good hour and a half.
yeah, you see it does get worse. You ever like start just kind of shifting yourself and seeing if like, maybe if I just like, you
I
start
do
pulling,
because sometimes it feels like you got to go, and then if you just if you wait long enough, it's like it'll pass.
yeah, well, sometime. Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
yeah. I
is,
think that's when it's a mental thing. This wasn't no mental thing.
well, I'll start playing with with the seat belt. You get that seat. I don't know about you, like that. Yeah, that lower seat belt. You got
Make
with
sure
that
it's
on.
not putting any pressure on you.
Correct.
Maybe
So
this is just pressing on my bladder.
so you're giving up a little bit of safety to
Right,
try not to.
right.
Yeah, these are
You
important.
might have an extra, half inch or something in there to
These are important
expand.
problems. These are important problems, America. You handle it how you will. So so how you know, you just like making a list of things. Like what's something that I did different this week? I
Yeah,
peed in the
peed on the
parking
side of the
lot.
road.
Yeah, people what? Well, I had the
I
joy of
did see a wreck this week. Now, there are enough wrecks in Baton Rouge. It's amazing to me that this is the first one I've seen in forever. Uh, so I was driving home on this road that I typically come on. It's a 2-lane road and has what I call a suicide lane in the middle. It's basically it's a turning lane.
oh
It's not a travel lane, but the road backs up, and a lot of times people will use the travel lane to advance and then get off the road. Like I've done that and turn into a parking lot and then get
no.
on the road that I'm trying to get on. Well, I saw this woman or car coming down the road. I mean, and just humming it in the travel lane from way far back, farther than anybody should.
Right.
And ahead of me, there's an intersection, and as should be, the cars in the stop lane leave an opening for the intersection. This guy pulls out of the intersection. Here comes a car up the travel lane, drills the guy on the backside of his car. Well, now the car that was in the travel lane is in the left lane, blocking traffic coming that way. This dude pulls over on a side street. So I'm still sitting there waiting for traffic to move. He gets out, looks at his damage, gets back in, and takes off.
So
So
this is the guy that got hit?
yes, this guy that got hit. It's a funny, and I'll tell you about it's a funny law because my son got in a wreck like that one time when somebody was driving on the shoulder. And the cops come there. Well, you're both responsible for yourself because you didn't give. He had the lane. It's like, yeah, but it was an illegal lane. It really wasn't a lane. So I followed the guy who took off, and took a picture of his license plate, and brought it back to the girl.
You did. Oh
I
man.
did, and then I told her, I said, okay, now look, since he
Crime
took off, I'm
Stopper
gonna
won.
tell you what you need to do. You need to say that you would drive. I know you were driving in this lane to go way over there. But you need to tell them that you were just up here and you were going to make a turn right up there.
So,
Then I left.
so not only are you a crime stopper, you're sort of a crime committer, telling her
I'm
to
aiding and abetting another
aiding and
criminal.
abetting. But so that's interesting how that turns around. It was really her fault.
Yeah, definitely her fault. But
Her-
they'll say, and I think the cops will just say, let your insurance fight it out.
which is a pain in the butt. Well, we had
Mhm.
that sucks, right? No fault. That's and look, I'm not crapping on cops. Cops have a tough job, but when we were coming up, you didn't have quite as many no fault accidents or
No,
fault
it
at
was
fault.
always somebody's
It's
fault.
somebody's freaking fault, man. You're
Usually it
like,
was mine.
so usually, yeah. But yeah, let your insurance companies fight it out. Great.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that guy makes me wonder though, was his car pretty damaged? I mean,
No, it wasn't too bad.
okay.
He could have had, it's one of those situations where you say, all right, well, maybe that dude didn't want to be around for the cops.
That's my point. Anybody that's in a wreck that's not really their fault, that skedaddles,
Yeah, wasn't in the best section of town. So
then wasn't the best section of town, but you You follow now. When you how long did you have to follow the guy to get a picture of his license
Oh,
plate?
just a couple blocks, just because I knew where he was going. I mean, I saw him take off, so then I turned straight there. Kind of, yeah, sped up a little bit. He got caught at a traffic light ahead of him.
Well, like Starsky and Hutch,
That's right,
man.
man.
Now that's a reference that for kids, there was a show called Starsky and Hutch. There was a cop show, and I'm not exactly sure. Just okay. He were you nervous at all? Not nervous. Well, were you afraid the guy
No,
would say, "Hey"?
no, I used the zoom on the camera. I
Let's
didn't
see,
get super close.
because now you
Yeah,
are injecting yourself
yeah.
into
I
a
didn't jump out
crime.
and try to stop him or anything.
You are injecting yourself into a crime. So, well, there you go, man.
Well, this is the point, because I've heard Trump say a couple of times on, when he's talking about the most recent assassination attempt, and
Sadly,
apparently,
huh? The most recent.
yeah, apparently a lady followed the guy because he looks, suspect, and
Yes.
took pictures of his license plate. And Trump would say that, it had to be a woman. A man wouldn't be smart enough to do that. So I was really trying to, disprove that theory.
Yeah, this was for those of you that aren't sure know what one's talking about. I don't think we talked too much or mentioned the second thus far,
Yeah,
uh,
the second that we know of,
the second
not
that we
counting the
know
one
of.
that, Iran is plotting.
Yeah, well, this guy was on the golf course in Florida, the Trump's course. Now, of course, I don't know if wait was it Trump's course or it might have
I
been.
thought it was Mar-a-Lago, of course.
But no, I don't think it was. I think it was.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. It's they got a few
Yeah, I
courses
don't know
there.
which one.
But this guy who lives in Hawaii, I think most of the time, somehow ends up in Florida and somehow knows where Trump is going to be playing golf and somehow gets himself situated
Onto the course, hidden
on
in bushes.
in bushes and was apparently there for about 12 hours waiting. Uh, so that's what Juan is referring. Those are the ones we know so far. And now they're literally on some of these events telling Trump he can't do them because they don't have the
Yeah, I think one
resources.
yesterday he had to switch it to inside, because he said Secret Service was short staffed.
Yo, and it's not like they're screening secret. It's not like they're screening. They're not disqualifying a lot of folks trying to be in Secret
Right.
Service.
It's, yeah,
Obviously,
it's not, bro, it's a Saturday. It's big football game weekend in a lot of states. A lot of people like to take off on Saturday.
yeah, but always be worried about the fact that now anything they're announcing. So right now it's supposed to be Iran. Iran's got teams of people in our country. Would you? How did teams get in? By the way, let's talk about and are they included in the 13,000
Yeah.
murderers that they are
Yeah.
actually admitting?
We probably gave them a ride on the plane.
More than likely. We got so whenever they start setting that up, whenever they start saying, "Oh, it's Iran. Oh, it's Iran. Oh, it's Iran." So guess what happens when anything happens? Hey,
There's a run.
not us. Was it? Was it? No. Am I suggesting that they're in on it? Not necessarily, but they don't appear to be too worried about
Whether
stopping.
in on it or not, they're not very concerned.
Yeah. Never thought the Secret Service would have a hey, bro, that's on you. Me, you know, we hear, we know we're gonna wear dark suits and
Yeah.
we'll be
Yeah.
around, but
Bobby called out sick today. Sorry.
yeah, we're not. You can't help me. Can't help you. And then we got that one nursing. I know she's supposed to be on sniper duty, but she brought her kid with her. It was bring
Not
your
a
kid.
kid. It's, not take your kid to work day.
Let's bring your kid to sniper duty today. But there you go. Well, not like it's not morbid. It's I was thinking about this. I'm going for a walk this past week. May have been the same day you were peeing in a parking lot or playing
Could be. Could be.
playing true crime detective. But and I mean I'm not far from the front of my neighborhood. Walk out and apparently, well, not apparently. I said apparently there was a dead armadillo. Okay, it was an armadillo that had been hit by a car on the road. Now armadillos are not that big. I don't think there's a lot of meat on an armadillo. Frankly, I just don't wouldn't think. There were no less than 15, maybe upwards of 20, 25 vultures. I call
Okay.
them
I was
vultures.
hoping that's where you were going, because I didn't want to think that you were considering
Thought I was
had
going to
it
make
been
a
a
Haitian
meaty
joke.
animal,
You
you'd
thought I was
brought
going to
it
make a
home.
Haitian joke? No. I'm not. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
I wasn't going even for that.
No, no, man. But it was bizarro world. I took a pic. I mean, I took pictures. Like it was, and when I got home, I told my wife. I said, "Man, we must not have a lot of stuff dying around here because that was a big club of vultures waiting their turn, seeing if you know." And I'm watching nature occurring here. Like, okay, you can tell who's the alpha vultures because the other ones having to stand
Yeah,
aside and wait.
Mr. Alpha gets first dibs.
But I mean, these you ever been up? You been up close to a full
I've
grown
had
buzzard?
some like in the little area by the creek behind me, and you'll see sometimes there's two or three of them that are sitting there with they're standing on the ground with their wings spread.
These things are big, man.
Yeah, and they say they're just out there like either stretching their wings or drying them or
Right?
whatever. But it just still and huge. The wingspan on it has to be 10 feet.
So when well, I don't, maybe. I mean, they're big, but they're big and they stand pretty tall. And these are large birds, large animals. And I, I'm Dr. Doolittle. I do talk to the animals. And I did as I walked by and they kind of look, they get out the way and I didn't want to get too close because it smelled of dead armadillo. Um, but I'm looking at these large animals and I literally said it out loud. Y'all could probably kill something. Y'all probably don't have to like
Right.
wait to you know.
It's nature though, man.
Seems to me, it seems to me they're wasting opportunity. You're just waiting for stuff to die. You're big enough, man.
I mean, think about it. That's how nature cleans itself.
That's it. As they say, as possums as well. They say possums are a little bit of that cleanup crew. Not mine. Mine are well fed. They're
They're not hungry enough to eat anything ill prepared.
no, man, no. I feel bad for them when I leave town, because my wife's not gonna go. She's not gonna feed the possums. So I
It's
feel
an electric feeder, man, or automatic feeder.
thought about it. I thought about it. I'll throw some extra. I'll throw some dog food or something back. Take care of my my pets. Not really my pets, but I'm actually going to Chicago tomorrow.
Oh, all right.
I got a lot of stuff to do between now and then, and I knew this coming up. It's you kind of look. Oh, we got a football game on Sunday, and it's not like the old days, like saying like I'm going to watch a game. Usually if it's a Sunday, yeah, I'm going to watch a game. That means you got about a 3-hour block, right? When you're going to a tailgating, no, dude, that's a 7 to 7 full day, and you don't feel like doing much when you get back. I may have taken a chair nap when I got home, Juan.
Dude, yeah, because on Sundays I don't feel like doing. I guess weather was nice here Friday and yesterday, so I took the top and the doors off my Jeep. Well, it's still parked in the garage because I didn't feel like getting up and going to deal with it today. So that means I got to get up early in the morning to deal with it.
Hey, man, rough to be you, bro. What time do you leave for work in the morning?
Yeah, 8, 9 o'clock, 8:30, probably 8 o'clock.
Whenever the what time does your office open?
8 o'clock.
All right. You don't feel compelled to be there at.
Nah,
Do you have a key to the facility?
Do I tend to the
No.
facility?
Did you have a key?
Oh, yeah.
So like
yeah.
if there's nobody there, you can just walk in. You have access
Only
to
at
it.
certain times. It's like I couldn't go I don't think I could go on the weekend or anything.
Okay.
It's a key card.
All right. I got you. So you can usually tell how you rank and stuff. It's like how what do you have access to and what time do you have to get there? Like other people get there at a certain time and you got that 10-minute executive flex.
Yeah, if I'm in the vicinity by certain time.
That's sort of my younger son's attitude about most.
Yeah, I fuss about that with my kids, and it's my son, it's the one who has no concept of being on time. Yeah, it's every Sunday it's the same thing. It's coming over to watch the Saints, and then about 12:30 he apologizes that he's running late, and like no skin on my back, dude. I'm watching the game.
We did something the other day with my wife, and my wife is she'll be on time for most important things. Now, most of the things that I'm involved in apparently are not that important. Yeah, it's not. It's not. And we'll say, like, what time? And it's always that game. Like, you want to go to like the new place Talia or the brew pub thing opened up. Yeah. So she says, what time? I'm like, why does it? I say, does it matter? I mean, what? Well, so like, 5. And then, at the point, but I think she builds into her own setup that she waits for me to start floating around. Like I think that's sort of one of her, triggers is, oh, I'm ready, right? So I'll be ready 10 minutes early, usually 15 minutes early, and you start. And then sometimes I try not to. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't want to get fussed at for
Too
hovering,
early.
yeah, like hovering over. But then a lot of times when I don't hover, she'll say, "Well, I was waiting for you to, so you can." And
Well,
long
this
the
thing,
short.
I'll always say, what time do you want to leave? And I'll be ready for that time. It may be, if we're leaving at 5 o'clock at 4:58, I may have an old ratty shirt on, but I got everything else ready. And all I got to do is go pull that shirt on, slide another one on.
That's it.
I'm good. The that we had Friday, like I said, it was homecoming at the high school game, and the tailgate thing started at 6. So Joey wanted to go, and I said, "You want to go get a drink or something before that little restaurant?" I said, "Yeah, that's fine. What time you want to go?" About 5. Then, like at 4:25, 4:30, were you ready? I thought we were leaving at 5. No, I just figured we go. We got to go. The tailgate starts at 6, and it's like, well, how much are we going to drink? We're 2 minutes away. Um, but then it's 5:30, and we're I'm getting ready to order another drink. And she said, "Well, it's time to go." The tailgate started at 6. I said, "Oh, you want to be there standing around with nobody, when there's nothing going on?" And
Yeah.
so we got there and stood around with nothing going on until it was.
That's part of being a couple, married or not, over time, right? That's
You aggravate the crap out of each other.
what you do. Well, time is, and that's always the case. I don't. I doubt there are very many people where the husband, wife, whatever is they're both early or both no. It always seems that I don't know. Maybe one just adopts. Like, okay, if we're ever going to show up anywhere on time, I guess I'm the one that's going to have to be on that. But I jotted this because it happened. This was a couple of weeks ago now, but it was, one of these things when you hear it the first time you hear it on, you start reading it's happening, you think, oh, come on. So, talking about the Israelis a couple of weeks ago had an ingenious way of taking out who they thought, and I guess they have proof. I mean, I'm not getting it. Some bad guys
Well, the people they were targeting.
they were targeting and pagers. So apparently, hundreds, maybe thousands of pagers. And I guess the story I heard was pretty ingenious, where they made the people that they were targeting or trying to get at nervous to carry phones because they said they were being tracked, you're being
Yeah.
traced, and so instead, the plan
An
of
old analog way. It's like a
this
burner
person
phone.
were beepers. Because when I first heard beepers, and then before I had the whole story, I heard beepers. I'm like, who's carrying beepers, man? I mean, I remember back in the day, that's how you ranked.
Dude,
You wore a beeper back in the day.
I had a beeper. Then my beeper got upgraded where you could email the beeper and I would get it would scroll like a text message.
I think I had one of those for the bank I worked at here for a bit. Yeah, man, you had a beeper that had words on it, man.
Yeah, that was like fancy.
Yeah, I remember I had it for a while. And again, I don't like the way it was set up, but when
Look, man, that was cool stuff where you not only had your beeper clipped to your belt loop, but you had your little StarTAC cell phone clipped to your belt loop.
hey man, that's how you roll, man. That was status. That was status. But I had that beeper. I remember at the time I was working at the bank. And I guess I was pretty high up on that. So I think I don't know if it was 1,000 people. I guess more or less. If you like the flow chart, who
Yeah.
the people that reported to me, who reported to them. So, but it was somewhere along the way, and it's probably HR because HR. And no offense to any of you that work in HR, HR can be annoying. And whenever somebody would be terminated, they'd have to terminate folks. They would go for approvals, and I don't know why so many of those things would end up floating up to me, right? It was like everybody wanted to have permission to fire somebody,
Oh wow.
and it should, but that happens. I get that. But my thing was always, why am I seeing this? Like, there's 5 freaking levels between the person you're firing and but that used to be my joke with that freaking beeper. And I would say it was just the opposite of, they say when the bell goes off, an angel gets its wings. I said, whenever this beeper goes off, it's gonna be a bad Christmas for somebody, man. Somebody's
Yeah.
getting fired, and then half the time, I don't know. I have no idea. What am I approving? I don't know this person. I don't,
Yeah, it's like, do I need to be involved in it? Then yes, I'm okay with it.
So I would just be in there like, well, I'm gonna have to trust that the idiot that reports to me.
Those of you who work with and supervise this person
I'm just
are better judged than I.
I'm hoping that the idiot that reports to me check with the idiot that reports to him about the idiot that fired the person, and just run it, okay, run it up the flagpole. Got to make sure it's okay.
Okay, but back to your original reason for bringing this up.
Oh yeah, hey, there you go. Hey man, it's been a long day, Juan. So apparently, all of a sudden, and they get targeted Israel. They got their hands on them. I don't know how they got into the distribution of these.
But how did they make them blow up? Or is that what they did?
They blew up and it's pretty good.
Or were they booby trapped?
Yeah, they had. I think they had explosives, small explosive charges put in them. So somewhere along the way, the Israeli, whoever, whatever the Mossad, whatever it is, they got their hands on these things in the supply chain.
Yeah, it's almost like an Impractical Jokers bit where it's okay, we have to get them to wear the beepers.
So these
All
guys, and it is mostly guys. Everything I saw
sure
was a guy, was basically going around for a while, all wearing explosives, and until they decided, all right, here we go, and blew a bunch of people up all over the place. And look, it's what you're gonna do. Were innocent people harmed? Probably, kind of happens. Sucks, but. That's
they call it war.
Well, speaking of war, you see, and look, it's I don't even want to try to be political, but it's just okay, you just shake your head. So our favorite Munchkin, Zelensky, right? The dude that's the Ukraine president, former actor, dancer, whatever, now president of Ukraine. They fly that cat over here.
On a military jet.
Military jet. So look, your money and mine flies this cat in, and
they come ask for some more of your money and mine.
Got it, by the way. But then they showed a tour. They go to Pennsylvania, and they're doing with the governor of Pennsylvania, like Shapiro, I think's his name, and they're touring a bomb factory,
a munitions plant.
And there's this is where I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, Green Party, I don't care. Signing bombs, you're a piece of crap. You're crap. I mean, I would say that, man, whoever you are, whether it be Biden or Trump or Harris or whoever, if you're what kind of morbid animal are you that you're signing your name?
I think signing bombs is not necessarily a new thing. I think soldiers may have done it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but you're a politician.
Not the guy, right?
You ain't seen. You have not seen combat,
right?
No. You're sitting here, in the safety of the United States, signing your name on bombs that are going to blow some people up.
Mm-hmm.
But in a war that's basically existing because you want it to,
Yeah.
right? You know, that they, but the other thing, and again, you just shake your head because the dude's, he's either fearless or insane or both. So Trump meets with Zelensky. You see this? You saw that happen while he was here. Zelensky goes to, I think it was Trump Tower. I think he actually went to Trump Tower to meet with Trump, and Trump comes out standing in a hallway or standing wherever they're standing. And Trump's like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
At least he's a big guy. That's why, like for the debate with Kamala, she had to have a smaller podium
To make
so
it
she didn't
look,
look
yeah,
dwarf.
so it wouldn't be correct. So Trump's a big guy. Zelensky ain't. Zelensky's like Tom Cruise size. Okay. So they're standing next to each other. Trump's, of course, got on his suit like he always does.
Mhm.
Zelensky's wearing a freaking jumpsuit.
Yeah, like he always does.
That annoys me as well. I mean, like, seriously. So you're over here doing whatever and
Yeah, you want to be comfortable.
and in your military jumpsuit, whatever it is. But Trump, he's there talking, and he says something like in front with Zelensky standing right there, saying, "Yeah, I have good relationships with Putin. We get along."
I want to end this war in a day.
Like, man. And I'm just like, boy, you want to pull the biggest alpha move there is, huh? Let me stand next to this guy. Yeah. Me and Putin get along. We get along. We're gonna end this thing. We're gonna end this thing. So maybe they will. Maybe they will. We'll see. Coming up. Elections coming up, y'all.
Get registered if you're not. Unless you're not going to vote the way I want you to vote, then stay home.
Yeah, then don't. Yeah. If you're gonna vote for the wrong people, just stay home.
Now we have, and I don't know if during NFL games if the ads are national or regional or local or some of them, but I've seen more political ads or presidential ads than I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Louisiana's not a competitive state.
Well, not no. Well, it must be national. It must be national spots. You see, same thing here.
I guess like at least regional, because we played Atlanta today, so that game had to be broadcast back in Atlanta, which is competitive.
I can't. Yeah. Georgia's not going to be nearly as competitive as you think because they passed. Not granted, passing a law and enforcing laws.
We've already had laws.
Two different things, but apparently in Georgia this go around, they've got to validate.
Hand count them, right?
Right. They got to have a count of how many ballots they have. Here's a shocker: how many ballots you have, just total ballots, and how many ballots were counted by the machine. Right.
Yeah.
You would think that would be sort of just a obvious thing you do, that all these, we're now a few years after the last fiasco where they just can't find thousands and thousands of ballots.
Or the other side,
Quote,
if we've got, 1 million votes cast, yet we've got 1.5 million votes that we're counting, that could mean something's awry.
Well, that's what we had last time. All over the place. All over the place. Like, and exactly. We're not even talking detailed accounting. We're not talking about getting hard math. It's
spreadsheet.
Like this is, and you might have quote unquote the machine. Why I say quote unquote? It's a machine. Quote unquote, for those of you that don't know what a machine is. So the machine is counting, but the machine is counting something physical.
Right.
Now, the problem is, in some cases, you can run that thing through it again. Yay. Bonus.
Well, where was it that somebody, they doubled up on sending out mail-in ballots?
Oh, yeah. Well, they could do that everywhere. Well, just like it's always odd, not odd, but we have that. The fact that we have public government unions is bizarro world. I mean, that's okay. But then when the postal service comes out and endorses a candidate, that makes you
I've always been upset when I see a commercial for the post office.
Yeah, man.
Like I paid for that.
Tell you what I want to find out too is, like, recently, and then maybe we talk about this next week, because I'm sure he won't get smart or stop being weird in the next week. But Mark Cuban has lost his ever-loving mind.
Dude.
I mean, that guy, I don't even want to know what they got him on video doing. Right? I mean, he's got to be in the Diddy tape somewhere. He's got, we never talked about that. Maybe
well, 8 years ago, he said, I'd consider being Trump's vice president.
So what my thing is, whatever, exactly. So people change their minds and everything, but it's just like some of the, like I said, I don't even think I want to know the video, because it can't be money wise that, I think the guy's got money, but somebody's got some disturbing footage of this dude. You know it.
Well, what is it? And I know we're at the end, but is it him that's pushing for an investigation because Musk is supporting Trump?
Oh, it's all, and here's the scary thing about, not scary, the numbers, right? So Mark Cuban is probably, I'm going to be generous, he's probably worth, I don't know, 6 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion, give or take, right? Elon Musk's wealth will fluctuate by more than that in a day.
Hourly basis.
Yeah. Like we're talking 200 something billion with a B. So yeah, it is. Well, we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Speaking of disturbing footage, I think it's time we end ours. We got the buffet, the buffet is before you guys. And as always, as opposed to the poor young man that had to ask for money at the homecoming dinner the other day.
You don't have to ask your date for anything.
No, it's free. It's free.
As advertised.
You and your date for free. We're going to push the button. Get on out of here. See if any of this stuff stuck to the tape in the sky. You want to find us, not hard, Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. And, of course,
right here.
Right here.
Wherever here happens to be for you.
Wherever it is. Whatever you're doing now, repeat. Repeat next week, and we will be here. All right. Every day, every week, every month, yearly. It's not a suggestion.
No. Not a request.
We're not implying anything. Y'all, it's a freaking
mandate. It's like an executive order.
Like an executive order. Go live your best life. Go live your best life. Juan lived his best life this week.
I did.
He peed in the parking lot.
Yeah, fell down a little bit today because the Saints lost. But you know what? On the bright side of that thing, it's going to look today's going to look better when we play the Chiefs next Monday night. So.
Yeah, you'll be looking fondly back at right. So, yeah, have at it, guys. And again, those of you, and these poor people don't have power, so I doubt they're listening to podcasts. But anybody that's been affected by Helene, thoughts and prayers. Hope everybody recovers. Those of you that can help, please do. And let's try to shut that hurricane stuff off this year, right?
Oh,
you know anybody that can control the weather one? That's another topic for another day.
Yeah, some people think so.
They think so. They can also, same people.
Throw some ice in the Gulf.
They blow up some, they say, hey, you can blow up some pages. You can probably control the weather. That's what they say. I don't know.
People think they already are.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway. Y'all have at it. Have a great one. We'll get back next week, talk all about it. See you then. Love you, bro.
Back at you. And I got nothing else. For real, nothing.
It's over. Go home.